How do folks, how you doing? Just a quick one. I thought we'd have a chat today. It's been a while, hasn't it? But I have been really busy and I've been on bans as well, so yeah, but after the ban I've still been really busy, so I haven't really got around to being on here a great deal. But I thought we'd have a chat today, and it may be a bounce because you never know. You know what I'm like. But I thought we'd start out by talking a little bit about mind control. Government. But mind control in general, because MK Ultra is very, very real. Probably had 15 names since it was called MK Ultra, but hey, let's not mar the facts with their bollocks of switching names. That's just part of neuro-linguistic programming. MK Ultra. And we got obviously the government and also many people use it, but people that use it, I suppose then it's going to come down to what is the purpose, what they're using it for. Are they trying to fuck you? Are they just trying to get their own way? Are they shitbags, or are they decent? It all depends. If you're trained in this and you know how to manipulate people, it's a matter of fact that you're going to manipulate people. Whether you use that for good or bad is that's down to your personality, isn't it? I know people who do use it. I know people who use it for good. I know people who use it for bad, and I know people who flip about and just use it for the circumstance, however they feel at the time. They're kind of indifferent to whether it's good or bad, and will just convince themselves it's for good, but that's because it's for their good and their good only, so they would never ever consider the fact that what they're doing could be really shitty. But the reality is, and the one factor that is more important, is you can't escape it, because it's in your everyday life. Your government use it to a much higher and more detailed degree. They are quite sharp and very focused with it. They pay the best minds in the world unlimited funds to learn how to fuck you over, and they do that by teaching you to fuck yourself over, and it's continual. It never ever stops, be that down from basically getting you to go and vote, or whether it's getting you to believe there's a deadly virus that's going to ravage through and kill the fucking world's population, or whether it's down to war. I mean, let's face it, the neuro-linguistic programming that's being put out there on the Ukraine bollocks, for starters, that's immense. It doesn't stop. They've got actual people supporting a country that's been ravaging their own people for many years. The last 8 years there's been a war raging in Ukraine, and they're not talking about that, are they? But they have been talking about it in the past. The fact that Ukraine are killing their own people, the fact that the Ukraine are pretty much Nazis, and they're doing this, that and the other. Now, I use the word Nazi loosely because they do. Nazi is a bad term when they want it to be, and something they just ignore when they don't, and they want to play that these people are really good. At the minute, they're convincing you and mind fucking you into believing that these poor Ukrainians have got to come over here and you've got to give them everything. It's just more people from another land to be brought into this country. More people, I'm not saying all bad people, but tough people who have been brought up in a tough manner, that know how to look after themselves when the shit hits the fan, know how to look after themselves in hard times, which is exactly what they did with the Africans and what they did with the ones before that, pumping them all in from far side of Europe, making out they'd walked for these thousands of miles just to come to this free little island we've got. Mixing it up a little bit. The present, and I've said before and I'll say again, I don't care about what nationality anybody is. We're all people, we're all getting fucked. But the reality is, different nationalities have been pushed into this country en masse, and not just this country. They've been pushed into many countries, and they've been used to break up the solidarity, the cohesion of the country, the identity, the national identity of the country, the national pride in the country. It's been diminished, and it's been diminished for quite a few years now. They've been at it, and they're at it pretty much all over the West. But more importantly, England and America, we've got to get it. When you think about it, they've portrayed us as the world leaders, and I suppose in the power struggle, the power game, not a struggle because it's entirely created, but the power game, yes, England, the nation England and the nation of America have been the rulers as such in the eyes of the people. And all a load of bollocks, of course. It is all theatre and it is all bullshit, but yes, we have bullied our way around the world. But we haven't been doing it for the purposes we believe. War isn't for the purposes we believe. I don't believe there's ever been a country where the affected, ever been a war where the affected country hasn't been in on it. They've been in on it, as they are now. Ukraine, Russia, still pissing in the same pot, still Freemasonic control. Let's face it, Antarctic Treaty. None of them are coming out with the truth there, are they? None of them are coming out with the truth about your strawman, the real fact of the Sesquivi Act, Setake, however you like to call it. Nobody's coming out with the important facts of the world. Nobody's telling you about your trust. Nobody's telling you money is fake, it's fictional, just as everything else is fictional. Your persona, your character is fictional. Nobody's telling you that. Countries, borders, fictional, only exist in the minds of those that have been warped by MK Ultra over the years. And it's a really important fact. People are not getting it. People believe that they're woken up, but they're not. And it's sad to say, they're really not. I call people fucking idiots all the time, but I'm not blanketing literally everybody. and I do believe we are all stupid. It's a fact, we're all stupid. We know fuck all in the scheme of things. Some of us know a little bit about some things, others know a little bit about other things, and together, yes, if we could come together, we'd know a whole hell of a lot more, if not fucking everything, because everybody knows something. We can't discount the fact that literally everybody knows something. I got said by somebody the other day that they was thick, and they're really not. It's just they only know what they know, and in the scheme of things, now they're learning other things, they feel thick, and that's how it makes you. It makes us all feel thick at times, because there are things that we should know that we don't know. There are things that have been waved in front of our face all of our lives, and we don't know them yet, and that's not what makes people stupid in my eyes. The fact that you've heard it before, it's MK Ultra that's the reason you don't believe it. But the reality is, you've got to look into it. Now, if you've been told something over and over again and pretty much shook to be woken up, and you're absolute refusing to look at the facts and the reality, that's what makes you a little bit thick, innit? And we're all guilty of that at times, because it is MK Ultra, like I say. The reality is so preposterous to what we believe and what we've been led to believe, what we've been indoctrinated into, that it takes quite some waking up to it. It really does. I know things that I would have laughed at even a couple of years ago if I hadn't have learned a few things before it. And this is the problem. There's a progression to truth. If you just got told the truth of the world as I know it, right out, and I just came out and just told you what I think this world is, and blah blah blah, all the aspects of it that I believe, 90% of those that would call themselves truthers would be rolling their eyes or laughing. It's a fact of life. You have to learn in progressions, because if you don't learn the steps up to it, you can't believe or accept the end goal. You cannot. It's absolutely impossible. What this realm is, what's happening in this world, I don't know everything, and I don't profess to. I say all the time, there's loads I don't know. We all know something and come together. I just know some shit. But back to the Antarctic Treaty. These parasites that do all piss in the same pot, these corporations that are all within the one major corporation, the corporation of the world. These countries, they're just corporations. The leaders of these, they're just selected figureheads. It's It's quite a job within the corporation, I'm sure, but it's not the top of the tree. It's really not. They're absolutely controlled. There is no leader in the world that makes any decisions or has any part in the decisions in any way, shape or form. They don't choose what goes on. In England, it's civil service. As a friend of mine says, they know somebody, a civil servant, who absolutely assures them that when you write to an MP and you ask a question, this question has to get sent off to the civil service, who write the answer and send it back for the MP to reload to you or relay to you. Now, if that doesn't tell you how fake this system is when they can't even answer the questions themselves. Now, when you get up to Chief Puppet, why would you think that that's any different? They're all absolutely run, and it's theatre, it's distraction for your mind, so you go along with whatever it is that they want you to believe. They've got the whole world separated by a belief system, a belief in this and a belief in that. It is what it is. I've got friends, and good friends even, that still believe in Trump, and we have serious discussions about it, but we can still be mates. I do call people fucking stupid, but it doesn't make everybody stupid. It just makes those that refuse to look with their own eyes a little bit thicker. And I'll say it, I say it to anybody's face, it is what it is. We are all fucking stupid. I'm stupid about some things, you're stupid about other things. Get over it, deal with it. But the reality is, the Trump issue, and I'm not having a dig at anyone in particular, because I know a few people that are still winging it and hoping for Trump and saying he'll come back in, and yeah, I do believe he will be used again. His role isn't over, but this is a corporation and it's all theatre. These are actors within the theatre. Unless you want to believe that Trump really is a time traveller and see the similarities of Simpsons, you've got to start accepting that this is a playbook that's already written, that they're playing out to, and all of these things that they do that show that it can't possibly because of this and because of that. Oh, did you see that on Simpsons? Time travel. I'm not saying time travel doesn't exist, it's a wonky old fucking world. I'm not saying it does either. I have got some theories on it. But we won't go into that today. But the reality is, this is a realm of vibration and frequency. Now, whether the ones that created it are within it, acting out different personas to keep us all fried up, should I say, so they can keep feeding off our energies, or whether some folks just worked this out at some stage and became the elites because they worked out how to run the program, who fucking knows. But one thing's for sure, it ain't what we believe, and we believe an awful lot of different things. We really do. So although yes, sometimes I come across as really fucking harsh on anybody who doesn't believe what I believe, I don't believe that I know it all, and I don't believe that everybody should believe what I believe. It just is what it is. I have my beliefs, and if you have your beliefs, we'll have a discussion. If I call you a cunt, call me a cunt, we'll all have a laugh about it. If you get all fucking bony about it and want to get arsey, I'm going to laugh even more, and I'm going to call you a bigger cunt. You got to get your shits and giggles where you can in this world. And seeing snowflakes melt is one place where I get my shits and giggles. What can I say? There's not enough to laugh about in this world, and although I do have a chuckle at the fucking idiots, I don't have enough laughs in my life. So please, by all means, take offence at me, because it will give me a laugh. You need to just get over yourself, because people call me a cunt, and yeah, everybody's a cunt to somebody. It is what it is. You've got to get over this shit and crack on in life. Can we all get on? This is a question that I ask myself regular. Can we get on? I believe inherently we could, but there are too many forces working against us, so we won't. I don't believe it's an impossibility. I think even the people that I call a cunt, if you get a one-to-one, I'll probably get on great with them. We'll have a conversation. But overall, I'm not basically going right into detail and taking the piss out of anybody in particular, or pointing or pulling anybody down in particular. It's pretty much, we are all a cunt to somebody at some stage. So if I think you're a cunt, I'm going to say you're a cunt. It's as simple as that. You got to deal with that shit. Like I say, it don't mean we can't actually get on or wouldn't get on. It just means I think you're a bit of a cunt. You probably think I'm a bit of a cunt, and you might be fucking right too. Who knows? But the reality is, like I say, we do all know a bit of something, and we should bring that something together, and we should be able to piece together. You imagine the solutions that's within the truth movement, especially with the law, the solutions to the war, the law, we may as well call it war, aren't we? But the solutions to the law, they are all pretty much out there. They're all out there, everything's out there, but we can't come together. You put two minds in the law movement together, and they come up with fantastic things. You get 3 minds, you get 4 minds, the better and better. But the problem with it is, some fucking people in it are deluded, and they believe the MK Ultra that's been put out there to shift your focus and to make sure that you can never ever get it right. Now, some of the things work by proxy, not because of what you've used, but because you're actually standing up and you stand your ground, and you usually win because you've stood your ground. Now, you use a wrong process, you might still get a win because technically something in there was right that they can't get over. But as a whole, when you start putting that process out there, what you do is lead a lot of people into shit. The problem with it is, and the way I see it, whether you've got a good process or a shit process, what's the fault is human error. You've got the fact that there are a lot of people out there that just want something given to them on a plate, and they don't believe that they should be putting anything into it themselves. Now, there's the downfall in itself, because the reality of solutions is you have to comprehend what you're doing, and you really do, because otherwise you're just putting in templates or whatever. And now, yes, templates used to work a treat ages ago, and this still can actually work as long as you understand what it is. You've got to have your comprehension. You've got to be able to stand on that shit. Now, the reason templates fail is because people don't even read the fuckers, and I absolutely know this for a fact, because I have written over the years hundreds of templates, and I have seen so many fucking people send off these templates without even reading the fuckers, and then when they get a response, they're asking for the next template to it, the next template. Well, if you understood the first, you wouldn't need another template. That's the reality. These templates usually ask really serious questions, no matter who's wrote the template. There's lots of templates out there, and they usually revolve around asking questions, and those questions are the all important things. Now, I've said it before on these videos that people get too wrapped up in wanting the next step to it when they already know the next step. What they want is it written for them so they can just stick a stamp on it. Now, if you're going to do that, you need to comprehend what you've done. You absolutely need to comprehend what you've done. You stick a stamp on something and post it off to somebody. You can't just fucking close your eyes and think that's over. It's never over. By 6 degrees of separation, if one fucking stamp on an envelope that you've written some template on would fix anything and finish it all, then the whole system would come crumbling down, wouldn't it? Because, as I say, 6 degrees of separation. You'd do it, your friends do it, your family do it, their friends do it, their family do it, and before you know it, the entire fucking world's done it. The house of cards come down, and there's nobody collecting your bins, and there's no fucking food places opening up to sell you any food, because you've destroyed the entire system. You have no money because the bank's closed, and such like, and so on and so forth. Now, people believe that bringing down the system is the answer. The bringing down the system is not the answer at all. I don't know how the answer can actually be put into practice, but it would be people understanding and comprehending and actually following processes that they know what they are doing with. Not to bring the system down, but to navigate the system. Bringing the system down is cataclysmic. I assure you, they've got plans in place. They have plans in place for a system being brought down. And let me tell you, bringing a system down closes every bank, closes every form of finance, so it closes your workplace. it stops shipping, it stops importation, exportation, it stops the foods being delivered to the shops, so the foods are just rotting in farms in Spain in their greenhouses, because that's where your shit comes from nowadays. It doesn't come from our farmer's field. 90% of the time that just goes to diesel, as my farmer tells me. Goes to diesel, just goes to diesel, everything goes to diesel. Oh, what diesel? The diesel in your petrol pumps, in the petrol stations. So that's where that is. Not all biodiesel, it's all fucking biodiesel now, isn't it? But the reality is the reality. People are so fucked up in wanting the next template, they don't bother engaging this. Now you engage that, you realise that you are a man, you are a woman, you are in control of your own life. You was born into this world with nobody in between you and your creator. Nobody. So at some point, a whole lot of folks, a whole lot of entities, should we say, usually fictional, stepped in the middle of you and your creator. They put themselves there without lawful right. They made it legal, but the word legal is bollocks, isn't it? So let's stick with lawful. They had no right whatsoever, but they did it anyway. Now, they're not actually criminals at the point they did that, because this word legal, you decided at some point in your life that that was believable and you went for it, usually through indoctrination. It wasn't your fault. Not calling you a cunt for that. We all believed it. But why? You don't have free will. Why don't you have free will? Were you born a slave? Slavery is repugnant to the law. The law tells you that. It's repugnant to the law. So if slavery is repugnant to the law, where's my fucking free will? And we shouldn't really have to go much further into that, should we, really? Because what it takes is a full comprehension of that. A full comprehension. I want to do this. Oh, I better get a license, or I better get permission. Why? We're not at school wanting to go to the fucking toilet, let's face it. We're in a world, it's a free world, is it? Fuck, why isn't it free? Because we don't fucking make it free. As a whole, because the people can't stick together. The cohesion's gone. Solidarity, it's all been smashed out of us. Absolutely smashed out of us. Well, we should be smashing it back into us, shouldn't we? So yeah, like I say, we call people cunts. I call people cunts all the time. There's so many shills out there feeding you a load of bollocks. Some of them are plain wrong, some of them are deluded. There are some new hot up and comings in this lawful remedy world, and fair play to them, good luck to them, and I find it quite amusing at the minute, because when they start out, don't forget, I did probably at least 7 years doing everything for free for everybody before I started putting a fee on things. And the reason I started putting a fee on things is because my life was going to fucking end. It was a constant barrage. There's never a time when I can look at my computer without 100 fucking messages for help and 100 sob stories to read and a 1,000 fucking notices that somebody else has written to read. Please read this and tell me where I've gone wrong and put it right. And the amount of phone calls, anybody who's known me a while knows damn well, I used to bounce from phone call to phone call to phone call all day fucking long, and then all night long I was writing shit, and it resulted in heart attacks. I nearly fucking died over it. I was laid in hospital bed with people still fucking hounding me, knowing I was in a hospital bed through a fucking heart attack, and they was just giving me more and more stress because they'd had a fucking envelope come through the door. So fees got put on it, and fees to make sure, damn sure, that only serious people were coming to me and not these energy vampires that say you should be giving every minute of your life for free. For free. These are the idiots. These are total and utter fucking idiots who don't get it. And this is what I find amusing, slightly amusing about the new up and comings at the minute, because I've watched a few over the last few years coming into it, starting out of like, I'm doing this for free because it's disgusting that people charge and nobody should be charging. And then I see them go, please give me a break because I can't take the amount of conversations, the amount of people getting in touch with me, it's killing me, please stop. And then I get, oh, now I'm going to have to charge just a little bit because it's because I can't keep up with it, so there's going to have to be a little fee on it because literally all of my time's gone and I'm fucking getting destroyed here and blah blah blah. And then he's like, oh, fucking hell, I've got to put an higher fee on it because I've got to stop the fucking snowball effect that comes. And this is the point. There is an absolute fucking snowball. And I don't knock these people for doing this, but I find it really amusing how they badmouth people like me in the first place and then end up doing just what I've done in the second place, because they really can't take it. And that's the problem with this movement as it is. There are a few people that have applied themselves and learnt the things that they need to learn. And I say a few because it is really just a few people. Most of the people don't apply themselves at all. And then when they don't apply themselves, they have an expectation of others. And that expectation is very, very false. It's way out of line. And it's an expectation that they owe you something, or they should be giving you all of their time, or even a portion of their time. Because let's face it, 100 people wanting an hour of you per day, it's kind of unsustainable, isn't it? But this is what this man and woman in their own heads believe, that they're only asking for a little bit of your time. Each one's only asking for a little bit of your time. So at some point, fees have to go on things that are prohibitive for the energy vampires, these ones that believe you should be constantly giving all your time for free. And I'm not throwing out there any excuses. It's an absolute fact. I'm just fascinated at the minute seeing people that came into it calling people like me because they truly believe that I should still be giving more of the time that I've got to everybody else, when we all know it's impossible. Let's face it, if you gave 24 people an hour a day, when you're going to sleep, when are you eating, when are you doing the things in your life that need doing? Now, for about 7 years I did nothing in my own life that needed doing, and I was doing everything for everybody else, and my life was going to pieces. Even now I don't have time to do the things that I should be doing, and I find myself doing things for others when I haven't got time for myself, and my own life can go to shit sometimes because I'm putting all my time into other people. And that's with a fee, because at the end of the day it's not about pay the fee and all of a sudden I've got enough time. No, I haven't got enough time for everybody who wants to pay the fee half the time, but it is what it is. It brings it down to a more manageable level, and then you have to juggle with your time. Like I say, most of the time I don't have time to breathe. This weekend, that weekend gone, I took the missus away. I needed it, she needed it, we needed some time. So we had a couple of days just touring around and having a bit of fun. But I came back to my emails, my messages, just through the fucking roof, and so much to do. I still now haven't caught up, and now it's Thursday. I got back Sunday evening and started immediately on walking through the door, and still I haven't caught up. And this is the effect that it has. Now, back to these that are amusing me, they haven't learned this yet, because yes, they're busier than they can handle, but they haven't actually realised yet it doesn't stop there. It never stops. At whatever level you step to, it still gets overwhelming, and it's down to you to learn how to juggle this, you to learn how to deal with this. People aren't ever going to leave you alone, because they're not doing anything on purpose. They've got a problem, they're coming to you for assistance, and if you can, you will, and if you can't, you won't, and it's as simple as that. But what you can't do is just put yourself out there for free, because there's a fucking avalanche. It's an avalanche. There are thousands and hundreds of thousands of people, millions even, of people who have got issues. Everybody's got issues, literally everybody. So literally everybody you will ever speak to has questions that they need answering. This is my life. Everybody has questions, literally. So there is no time when you're talking to somebody that they're not going to be asking you questions and draining your mind. And it does drain your energies constantly. But it doesn't mean it shouldn't happen. It just means you've got to control it somehow. I try to answer everybody that I can. I believe I get to everybody that I can. I don't believe I leave anybody unanswered, and if I do, I'm sorry, I've missed you, or I've left it till later and forgotten about it because I've had a mini avalanche coming on that day. It just is what it is. But at the end of the day, we all try to help everybody we can, but we just can't put ourselves out there entirely and give up our lives. I did it. It ruined my life. I still haven't got a handle on my own life. My life is still not my own. Every minute of my day is taken up with others. But this is what I do. I've got it at a point where I don't believe it's going to kill me, and I control it in a manner which I don't believe it's going to kill me. How long I can keep what up for, I don't know, but I do what I can all the time I can. And at some point I know I have to prioritise and kind of concentrate on the ones I'm obligated to, as opposed to trying to help everybody. Like I say, we can only do what we can do, but it is quite amusing watching these others that, like I say, that are up and comings, that start out with the everything should be free, and I hate it when I see people charging, so I'm doing this out of the kindness of my heart. That's a man or a woman who hasn't fucking put themselves out there much yet, because as soon as they do, you'll see them start to cry, and it will fucking lead anybody to tears. It is shocking how it makes you feel when you're reading everybody's got these problems, and you're reading the problems, you're hearing people begging you for help, and you haven't got 2 minutes spare in your day to help them. You've got to let somebody go, or you've got to not help this one because you've got a fucking 100 that you're helping. That is emotional for yourself, and that's part of what destroys you. The fact that you have to say to some people at some stage no, and yeah, immediately you're a cunt to them, but you have to be a cunt to somebody. We are all cunts to somebody. So I don't know if I should call this "we're all cunts to somebody." Maybe not. Another one took down. Another fucking ban. But anyway, yeah, just a little one. It's not actually a rant. It's not me actually whinging about anything for once, is it? I'm just having a chat. So it is what it is. But on that note, I'm going to leave it there because the video will cut out otherwise, and I'm going to have to piece two together then. I fucking hate doing that. I'm a technophobe, so that ain't the way it goes. But anyway, on that note, listen folks, look after yourselves. You have to, because not everybody can look after you for you. So look after yourselves, learn to look after yourselves. Find your balls, put your hands down your trousers. You've got to be able to stand your ground. Learn that shit. Learn to stand your ground, because if you refuse to stand your ground, there's only one way it goes, and it does go that way. Everybody that learns to stand the ground say to me, wow, I did this, and fuck, what a feeling. We're too polite. We're created to be too polite. We need to learn to stand up for ourselves. Certainly to the MK Ultra that the system use against us. We believe that bad things are going to happen to us if we stand up to ourselves. But remember, free will. We was born into this world with no man, business, corporation or entity standing between us and our creator. Where the fuck did they get the right to put themselves in between me and my creator? They didn't. They don't have that right. They will not get away with that shit. I will not allow that shit. You don't either. On that note, have a ball. See you later. Ta-da.